Welcome back, fight friends, to the Shout Out Fight Podcast. How is everybody doing today? It is the second podcast of the week. This is podcast number 74, and this is the Muay Thai World Cup breakdown show. Ooh, boy, that was fun, eh? All sorts of stuff to talk about Saturday night, right? Before we get there, first, if you enjoy the Shout Out Podcast, do me a quick favor, a couple quick favors maybe. Just take a finger, hit the like button. You can kind of feel good about yourself and carry on. If you want to go one step further, you can just hit the share button. Make sure you share with a friend, a family member, or a foe. And again, especially a foe. They might turn into a friend, maybe family, who knows? So friend, family, and foe. And write a little ditty. Oh, the Shadow Podcast, number one on blowing away Joe Rogan's podcast. You know, all that good stuff. And then just hit that one more, the share button, just one little finger. That would do me a massive favor. And of course, in the words of my buddy B. Kong, only the real ones subscribe. So please be a real one. Hit that subscribe button, whether it be on Spotify, YouTube, Apple, anywhere that you're listening to this. It goes a long way, especially if you hit all of them. Just kind of pop. It's going to take 10 seconds of your time, and that massively helps me out. I really do appreciate that. Okay, I got a 5-star poem for you today. 5 stars. Now, not needed. We had Brad Stanton from the Rajadamnern World Series this week. I'm doing another one this week, the Muay Thai World Cup breakdown show. We got to break this thing down while it's still hot. That alone is worth. Listen, I gotta be real with this. YouTube thing is a huge pain in the ass. Well, it'll get easier, but but to do 2 in a week is definitely going to require some work. So that alone, make sure you hit that 5 stars for me. But hold up. Let me hit you with a poem. I didn't remember it, so let me recite it here. The Muay Thai World Cup is done and dusted. Some faces clean and others busted. The long buzz of the build-up, and then it's over in a flash. And we have 6 fighters closer to that 5 fights and $100K in cash. With huge fights, massive announcements, and a tournament final and more, I'll have ants in my pants until November 25th. That is for sure. Oh, wait, I have a thing. Yes, I see you. Yes, thank you. I know. Good to see you too again. Sit down. Okay. Let's continue on. Listen, we got a show to do here, guys. Thank you. Okay. Anyway, as I was saying. Oh, yes. Okay. Why not? One more, hey? Okay. Fully agree. Okay. Enough. Sit down, all of you. Okay, thank you. Let's carry on with the show here. I hope you guys like my 5-star poem there. All right, fighty friends. So again, if you've had any interaction with me online, Facebook, Instagram, anything like that, in person, I try my best to remember who they are, write them down so I can give you a shout out. So my fighty friends, number 1, Man O' War. I said it last podcast. This guy supports everything. He likes everything I do. The least I can do is give you a shout out, number 1 today, sir. Thank you. MMA Journal Canada, Taylor, you know who you are. Kelly, Rudy, Eric the Singer, Tawny, Dwayne W, Wayne B, my very first subscriber on the Shadow Podcast YouTube. I won't forget that, pal. Thanks. Scotty Without a Body, Sweaty Weddy, Hope, Dean, Mighty Mason, Braden R, Mike Fitzpatrick, UFC, and Beardy D. Sorry, just making sure my equipment's good. So if you hear weird nicknames, it's either from, like that's your Instagram handle. I don't want to start, Harvey Farts and Timmy. And I don't want to use people's full name, in case they don't want that. Sorry to Harvey Farts if that's a real name out there. And by the way, if you hear names like Sweaty Weddy, Mighty Mason, UFC, and Beardy D, they all come from my gym. And chances are, if you're out of my gym, you've been here a while, you have a nickname from me. So, yeah. Sometimes, I'll tell you what, guys, before I continue on with my shout-outs, quick thing. Some people forget that I teach martial arts. Like, I have for 30 years. Oh, no, okay, not teaching 30 years. I'm doing martial arts for 30 years. Next May, 29 years. I've been teaching people, 20 more, 25 years, who knows? And I teach a lot of kids. So I just want to address this real quick. Speaking of having students and nicknames and all this kind of stuff. So I got a couple messages about the Vic Bogdan and Taylor McClatchy fight, and let me explain myself real quick. I don't write any of these things down. Like if I happen to say something, like when Jay Davis, and we'll get into it, he ate a flush head kick. Not saying it was full on, but flush. And I said, oh, dude, man, he wore that like a custom fit hat. I literally just came up with that on the spot. Like it's just me. I feel like if I write these things down, They're not going to come out organic. I'd rather just let them out. If I've practiced them, I'm going to put pressure on myself to use it, and it's not going to come out right. So it just comes out. So in saying that, I said in the Taylor McClatchy fight that she's got, or Taylor was squeezing Vic so hard in the clinch. Vic better be careful she doesn't poop her pants. And I got a few comments like, "Poop your pants? Where does that come from?" Well, let me tell you where that comes from. I teach a lot of kids, way more kids than I teach adults. And when you're teaching the clinch, that age, that sort of, 5 to 10, 11-year-old range, poop jokes are hilarious. I have a 5-year-old son. I'm 41. I still laugh. Anyway, I teach a lot of kids. So I use that pooping your pants thing as a way for kids to know how much pressure I want them in the clinch, and it's fun. So what I'm trying to say is, if you're just kind of hugging each other and you're not really clinching, I'll say to my kids, like, "What are you doing? I want you to squeeze. I want poop on the floor. I want you to squeeze him until he poops. You got to squeeze him that hard." And then they do. And then I'll tell you, "What are you going to do? Don't poop on my floor. How are you going to get out of it?" Or just the same thing, right? Like, if you're trying to work a drill and one kid's just squeezing the other one, like, "You're going to make him poop. What are you doing?" Right? Like, relax. And then they laugh, ha, ha, ha. And then it's just they remember it. It's fun. And by the way, my teaching style, I'm crawling up that ass if we're not working. If we're working, we'll have fun. I like to make it fun, but we got to work. So when I'm dropping those lines, it means we're working, we're having fun, but I still want more out of you, right? Come on, I want poop. Squeeze him. I want poop. I want to clinch so hard, So I naturally now, on the other side, though, if you're an adult or a fighter, quite often when I tell people, like, when you take the back in Muay Thai, I want you to squeeze them till they shit. All right? Like, maybe a little more competitive as you move up in age. So I recognized during the broadcast, and again, I didn't mean to, but I saw Taylor had a great tight clinch. For those who can't watch and just listening, I'm kind of half clinching right now. And, head to head and super tight into the chest. It was brilliant. And I just happened to say, like, man, that clinch is so tight that, Victoria better make sure she doesn't poop her pants. And you just rolled on and you keep talking. And then a few minutes later, or not seconds, I mean, not minutes, a few seconds later, you realize you said it, right? Like, oh man, that's how I talk to my kids. But I can't say squeeze until she shits, right? So that's the thing. You got to roll on. What am I going to do? Go back, "Oh, hey, by the way, guys, what I really meant was I teach a lot of kids." You can't do that. You got to roll on, right? So I got a few comments like, where did that come from? Well, that's where it comes from. It comes from teaching a lot of kids and having fun in the clinch, trying to get them to either A, squeeze their opponent, or B, don't squeeze your opponent. So poop jokes always work around here. So that's where that came from. All right, shout-outs. So in saying that, everybody, YouTube, Saturday, the podcast, thank you. Kieran Kettle, the Muay Thai World Cup, and Tina Fost for allowing me to be part of this movement. This movement happening in Canada, who knows, maybe North America, who knows, maybe around the world. In the Muay Thai World Cup, "Oh, you're just saying that because you work for them." Maybe. I get to be right in the thick of it. But you can't tell me that now I'm in Calgary, Alberta. You can't tell me things have not gotten way awesomer as a fight fan since the Muay Thai World Cup. It is. I love that I'm part of this. I'm part of the growth. Not that it hasn't been growing, but I get to be part of a regrowth. And, man, I see where it's going, and I'm so excited to be part of it. Thank you, guys. And from Combat Fighting Channel, me and him have been chatting a lot lately. I love his work. It's awesome. And what a great dude. Always easy to support like-minded people who also are nice. So I shout out to you, man. Looking forward to doing some work in the future, maybe. Eric the Singer, Jerry Lou, my new best friend, wore the Shout Out Fight podcast. So I have a few best friends now. I got Kelly, I got Jerry, and I got Hope. All three of those people wearing Shout Out Fight podcast shirts to the ring. Again, I'm like a kid. I'm like, oh my, he really did that. He really chose that shirt. Jerry, you're my new best friend, buddy. Hell of a win too. We'll get into it. MMA Journal Canada. That guy pumping out content like it's insane. I appreciate you for including me and making sure you got my good side. Brad Stanton, I'm still buzzing from that. That was Saturday morning, and like I said, please make sure you watch and listen to that podcast. It's beyond punch and kick. It's inspiring. It's inspiring if you're not 19 years old and don't have responsibilities. Please watch it. I thought it was brilliant. And by the way, shout out to you, Brad, for keeping in contact with me. And I wish you good luck, and I'll be cheering for you on July 1st on the Rajadamnern World Series versus Danny Rodriguez. Lane B. I don't want to use your last name, Lane. I contacted you out of the blue to ask you a pretty personal business question, and you helped me a lot. Thanks, buddy. Again, just the confidence of, yeah. Thanks, Lane. I really appreciate it, bud. Turkey and Pistols, as always. Rob from Turkey and Pistols. He's responsible for the shirts. He's responsible for the logo. He's responsible for the website. By the way, I saw some just straight Turkey and Pistols, not podcasts, just straight Turkey and Pistols shirts out there on the fight card. And they were even like, oh, we got in Bragg Creek, this guy named Chad. And I'm like, no, his name is Rob. And they're like, oh, yeah, Rob. But you should hear what they had to say about his shop in Bragg Creek. Oh, what a cool little spot, man. I was like stepping back in time. And Rob's a good guy. The vibe was cool. I'd love to go back. Please check out Turkey and Pistols in Bragg Creek. I love that guy. Rob, you're the best. Fountain Tire Shepherd. So check this out. They were a sponsor for the Muay Thai World Cup. I don't know nothing about nothing. I just, at the end of the night, I undid my tie. I undid my top button. I loved looking fancy for an hour. After that, I want that off. Anyway, so, and they just came up to me and said, hey, this is our first time. That was great. You did a great job. Way to bring the energy, which, I really do appreciate. I promise I do. I'm just bad at accepting compliments. And had a little chat. This is our first time. Fountain Tire was the sponsor, and he said, hey, I got some table seats, so let's go check it out. And they became fight fans by the end of the night. They were so impressed with everything. They cannot wait to be back and watch November 25th. So, and just had nothing but nice things to say about myself, obviously, and the fight card. So shout out to you guys at Fountain Tire Shepherd. You guys know how to make a guy feel good. It was nice to meet you guys at the end of the night there. Romel from Milton Muay Thai. Coach Romel, the owner of Milton Muay Thai. First of all, Milton Muay Thai, just a factory of Muay Thai. They're just pumping out people, fighters, all times of the day, looking awesome. And Romel, obviously, sorry, I thought something pulled up here. His fighter was didn't make weight for the tournament, and so she didn't get to fight in the semifinals. Listen, neither here nor there. That has nothing to do with me. All I know is I think Romel is a great dude. Milton Muay Thai, wife Samantha, and your cute little baby as well. But I think so highly of you guys. You guys are great people, and thanks, man. Thanks for the shout out there on social media. I always look forward to seeing you, your fighters, and all that good stuff, man. Thanks for the support, and I promise the support is right back at you, buddy. Siam Boxing Shop. I believe that's in the UK, but they have lots of good stuff. Muay Thai shorts, shirts, hoodies, all that good stuff. I wore them around. And they shared a couple of my things. I just want to say thanks. It's pretty cool when you see someone like that. Like, oh man, I had no idea. Thanks. Jay Davis for getting a hold of me, correcting his fight record. Not in a bad way, of course, but we said on the broadcast that he was 1-1, and so maybe they can have a third match. And he was like, where the hell did you guys even get that from? I'm 2-0. Like, oh, my bad. So listen, all in good fun, of course. So Jay, thanks for getting a hold of me and fixing that. I don't know. In my mind, I want to blame Kyle. I'm going to say Kyle said you lost the first one. It's easy because he's not here. Anyway, I guess I just assumed from the way social media talked, maybe it was Max because the way he talks, but I just kind of assumed that it was a close fight and you lost it for some reason. But anyway, we'll get into that one. So thanks Jay, and all of WTM. You guys are a good crew. I like all you guys over there and girls. Yuki from Boss Thai Boxing. Thanks for rocking that shirt, buddy. It's one thing to be handsome. It's another thing to be handsome and wearing a Shout Out Fight podcast shirt. I appreciate that. Gianni Suba, he's one of the commentators. No, obviously I'm a little sensitive to commentators, right? He's one of the commentators from Lumpini Friday Fights. So for me, Friday mornings are the fight cards, and he does such a good job. He keeps it very. I lose my mind. I lose my shit. He does such a good job of bringing the excitement just to a perfect level and still keeping it informative, and he just nails it. I got to work on that. But anyway, I really like his style and the back and forth. Thank you, Johnny. Kieran Walsh, Muay U in Australia. Again, back and forth. Hey, I'm watching the fight card. Good luck. I'm always talking with that guy. I appreciate you. That's what we always say. Phil Lear, as always. That guy's a big Muay Thai man. Love talking to him. And, of course, I want to give a shout-out to Rashido Martial Arts, Deerfoot North location in Calgary, which is my gym. Love this place. All right. What else is there to say? It's my home. Quick note from a couple notes here. Quick note from Kyle Messenger. Number one, I'm not sure if something was said. Maybe he can confirm. But he just wanted to drop a quick note stating that, see, I took a screenshot on my phone, which I'm using to record. But basically along the lines, it's distracting me, this pen. Along the lines of, hey, I hope everybody enjoyed the fights. I hope nobody's mad at us or misunderstanding that we don't like anybody or we're cheering for a specific fighter, because that's not the case at all. It's a hat. Like, I am excited at the fight cards, but the other half of the excitement is I know I have a job, right? Like, now I know I lose control sometimes. I get a little excited, but I don't always. Hey, how's that Subway sandwich, guys? That looks phenomenal. What are you guys gonna have for dinner? Like, come on, I don't talk like that, right? like it's a job you wear. So I hear what Kyle's saying, that we love everybody, and please understand that we don't mean to disrespect anyone or get facts wrong or nothing like that. We're just talking heads. We try to watch what's happening. I go like this because usually we're sitting down looking up in the ring. We're just trying to talk about what's happening, the things that we see or don't see sometimes, and it's live. So that's the other thing. Even if you see something or say something, poop your pants, that's wrong, or you're like, you can, let me go back and correct that. You don't get to do that, right? You got to roll on. So it's live, and whatever comes out, comes out. And we try to be impartial at all times. Sometimes we're wrong. Sometimes we get a stat wrong. Jason Davis, 2-0, not 1-1. But please understand that we are doing it for everybody. We are the community. We're part of the community. We want to do to support the community. We want to lift up both of you and your opponent during fight time. And I think that's kind of what Kyle was maybe trying to get across. We love everybody. We are the community. We're in this together. And so please just don't take it personal. We're just talking heads. And we put on our talking head hat, and then at the end of it, we take it off. So we just hope that we haven't offended anybody. Well, to be honest, I'm a little bit past that now. I'm sure I have, but it's just I really had those feelings when I first started doing this, because I know everybody, right? And especially now, like even if I didn't know, Romel is a great example from Milton Muay Thai. I didn't know who you were really before all this. Now I look for you. If I hear you're going to be in town, I want to come find you, right? So these are really a lot of our friends, our colleagues, and all this. So we're not crapping on anybody. We just call them as we see them. Try to keep it impartial as we can, and so just please don't take offense. Maybe there's a little humor joke in there, but please, it's just a job. So I hope I nailed that for you, Kyle. I also want to give a shout out to Kyle, who's heading down to the TBA's Iowa, the TBA tournament with, I believe, 5 fighters. He wanted me to give him a quick shout out, so shout out to you. I know you gave me the names of your fighters. Here's the problem: it's on my phone on a screenshot, so I don't want to forget anybody. So I'm really sorry. I won't name names, but I will say shout out to Kyle Messenger leading Team Elite from Calgary, down to the TBAs, the Thai Boxing Association sanctioning body. I think that's the full term. Down in Des Moines, Iowa. Great tournament, and good luck, guys. Last thing. Oh, boy. One last thing I want to talk about. ONE FC. I don't want this to be a 4-hour podcast, and I don't want to do another one this week. Shit takes a long time. But check out the ONE Championship fight card this Friday. I don't know if it was planned to be some kind of massive thing or it just kind of ended up that way. Oh, man. Prajan Chai versus Sam A. Nico Carrillo versus Muay Thai, the guy that had that tear up with Liam Harrison. Nathan Bendon versus the man who yields to no one, Sexan. Boy, I think that's the one too. Arjun Buller from Canada versus Anatoly Malkin, I believe. That's an MMA fight. Anyway, there's more. There's way more. I'm forgetting them because they're on my phone, right? But it's a stacked fight card, so make sure you check that out Friday morning on YouTube. I certainly will be, and then we'll do that one. We'll do a podcast for that on Monday as well. Okay. Don't need that one anymore. All right, guys, let's get into it. Forget the intro. We'll just roll right into it. Muay Thai World Cup post-show breakdown with your commentator, Jason Bryant. Don't worry about the button. Okay, guys, so I wanted to talk about this, I guess, from my point of view. Where are we at? 25 minutes. From my point of view. So, again, I sit in the corner. If there's anything I hate about being a commentator, which is nothing, except one thing. I don't get to see the before and the after. I don't get to walk around. I don't get to talk. So quite often when you hear about people who've been lumped up or they were hurt before, something happened in the back, this guy did that guy was this. I don't find out any of this information until long after the fights. I hate that. I like being part of it. This is from my point of view. All right. So the reality is, if you watch the fight cards, this is probably going to sound fairly familiar. Now, I wrote these down. This is my actual book here that I use, for writing things down on the fight card stats, so I can tell you guys they're from this gym, rank number here, whatever. So we'll just do it right off this. Now, this is from the Instagram Muay Thai World Cup page. It's not the actual fight order, so I'm just going to do it off here so I don't have to keep flipping back and forth and sort of breaking the flow here. So, in my book, let's start off with Jay Davis from WTM Fitness in Calgary under Albert Hahn, 165-pound. I believe this fight was at 165. I could be wrong. He is number 7 in Canada, according to the WBC, at 168 pounds. That would be a super middleweight. And this is his 5th Muay Thai World Cup fight. So this guy really, who's had more fights than him under the Muay Thai World Cup? Jake, maybe? But the reality is, I bet this guy's in the top 3 for most appearances for the Muay Thai World Cup. So he's probably getting good and used to those lights. Being under the bright lights, the hype, the routine of how the Muay Thai World Cup likes to do their stuff. So, so he was fighting Max Koroviakovsky, Lion, I believe originally from Ukraine, and now training out of Kalari KB and Muay Thai in Markham, Ontario. By the way, he might not be from Ukraine. I'm just going by what I see on his Instagram and flags and all that kind of stuff. Okay, so this was a rematch. I'm not sure. Now, this original matchup happened at Rise of the Warrior fight in same thing in Ontario under Michael Fitzpatrick there. And by the way, thanks for having me out at the last one there commentating. So I don't know why. I assume Jay lost that first one, but didn't. He has corrected. Anyway, at the weigh-in, and these guys got knuckles on faces, and Jay made it pretty known that he's not a big fan of Max. And then, to be honest with you, I take pride in my honesty. The fight starts, and Jason Davis hits him with a quick. So if they're both orthodox, a quick inside low kick off his lead leg, and immediately it's kind of like, hey, you remember that? That's what I saw. You remember that, buddy? Hey, you remember that? And I was like, oh, this is heated. And they're talking back and forth. And then I don't know nothing about nothing. But from what I saw from sitting there, I realized, oh, this is all emotional and heated and like a pissing contest because of Max. I found him to be annoyingly disrespectful. It's not nice to say, is it? But after every round, he would not go back to his corner, doing a lot of messing about. And I just, even at the end, when his hand wasn't raised, he's still screaming at the fans and the camera, I'm the champ. Like, just don't, bro. It's not your time. You've had your time. If you've won, let somebody else have their time. It's not your time. And I just thought that was very, very amateur of him. He was very emotional and dropping his hands or putting them up in the air, sticking his face out. And he paid for it a few times. And I did say on the broadcast that if taunting your opponent and putting your hands down and doing all that counted for something, he'd be a world champ. However, it doesn't count for shit. It's just me. This is just me, okay? I'm only speaking for myself, but I'm not a fan of those kinds of people. When you're that kind of person, I can't be on the support wagon. I'm sorry. I thought the referee was upset with you because you wouldn't follow the rules after the rounds. Like that, listen, I don't own the Muay Thai World Cup. This is just my opinion. But keep that for like local shows that aren't on pay-per-view that people are paying to watch. I'd love to see him grow. I thought he was very hungry. I just want to fight. That's what I got off his social media. But I'm sure he doesn't care, and nor should anybody. My 2 cents is worth less than one. But it's going to be hard. If you're going to keep that up, man, it's going to be hard for me to cheer for you for sure. So in saying that, I got to say congratulations to Jay Davis. I can see why that was an emotional fight when one guy really tries to bring it out of you. And I thought you did a good job in between corners when he's coming in and talking and chirping and sitting beside you on the ropes. Just ignore him. I thought you did a great job. It's just my professional opinion, non-professional opinion, I'm sorry, that there's the difference between somebody ready to turn pro and someone not. So, or at least, the doorstep of pro and somebody still, whether you have 100 fights, just not ready yet. There was a lot of ego errors that I thought made. But anyway, who cares? Congratulations, Jay Davis. Now 2-0 versus Max Koraviakovsky. And that was great. Congratulations, WTM. Big fan of those guys. All right, I believe this one started off the show. We have Sean Newberry from Calgary, from Elite Muay Thai under Kieran Kettle and Francois Duval. WBC number 6 at 175 pounds. Now, I got his record of 4 wins and 2 losses. Bro, is that right? That can't be right. Anyway, again, what do I know, right? And I believe his last fight, real fight, was on the Muay Thai World Cup versus Jerry Liu, who also fought this evening. Now, Sean Newberry, fighting Danilo. Now, I could be wrong, and maybe he can correct me on this. Is it Danilo Venegas or Danilo? Or did I even get your last name right even? But I just went with again, he's not here, so I get to crap on him or blame him. But Kyle Messenger beside me, he said Danilo. So I was like, oh, okay, Danilo it is. If I'm wrong, please correct me. The least I can do is get your name right. From Toronto, Ontario, Spartan Striking Academy under Michael Fitzpatrick, WBC Canada number 12 at 168 pounds, southpaw fighter. And his last fight was quite recently on the Rise to Warrior fight night. Like I said, I commentated. And, man, he had a good showing there. He fought a cat out of Bermuda. Beautiful left head kick. Yeah, I'm sure you can see it on social media as well. And I can't believe that guy got up, man. It was flush. But Danilo looked good. Good win for him out there. And now he comes out west. I don't know if this is his first time. And I am very curious. He got pretty tired. Now, these guys got after. This was the first fight of the night. So, they were excited, the build-up, the hype. And it's been a long time for Sean. It might be Danilo's first time coming out west. So, he wanted to put on a showing. And these guys, they got after. They punched each other in the face a lot, hard, too. It was good. Good fight. But Danilo did get tired. And I thought he had a more energy output fight in Ontario and didn't look quite as gassed. Now, I could be wrong. Who knows? But I'm curious. I am curious to know, for those who are new fighting out west or in Calgary area, do you feel the elevation? I've heard a few times. The best way I heard it described is when you try to take that deep breath in, right? Because we're in the mountains here. We're so high elevated that you just can't get that last click. As you try to, just that last little bit that you're looking for, you just cannot seem to get out here. And so it pulls the gas tank. And I'm just curious. So like Taylor McClatchy, I know it was her first time out here, I think. Danilo, maybe your first time out here, I think. So I'm just curious if that was noticeable. Sean Newberry, a friend of the show. He's been on a few times on the show here. Just loves to fight. Every time he's got any sort of matchup half lined up, he can't wait. He's talking about it. Great nickname, man-child. But boy, he was hungry. He looked in really good shape. He's been training. Just unfortunate series of events where he wasn't able to fight. Nothing in his control. So it was good to see him back in there, looking sharp, looking strong, looking ready, looking war ready and in shape, and it was good. And Danilo, heavy-handed guy. Now, what's cool about these two guys? At the end of it, Sean happy and hey, thanks, and big smile and talking to everybody. And Danilo, big smile, hanging out with his family, and hey, we didn't get this one and move on. And this is what I like. This is Muay Thai for great dudes. I'd love to see Danilo come. I've now seen 2 fights in like the last 2 months of him. I'd love to see more. And, of course, I'd love to see Sean Newberry back out there. This is a 175. I wonder who's out there for these cats. But anyway, good fight. Good. Sean Newberry, the taller, longer of the two. Danilo, the southpaw, and carrying all kinds of heat in those hands. But yeah, and they both got a taste. Sean wins by decision. So very good fight. All right, on to the pro card here. So we have Duval Garvey, 160 pounds. I think this fight was at 1-0 as a pro, training out of Dunamis. He was one of 3 fighting that night. There was also Quinn Wazelik and Jake Peacock, obviously. WBC Canada number 6 at 168 pounds. Will fight at 154. This guy's a savage. This was his second pro fight, 3rd appearance on the Muay Thai World Cup. 16 wins, 4 losses overall. Very well known for his clinch and elbow game. And if you saw like some of the promotions, he was looking at turning this one up. This fight, let's turn it up. Let's turn up the aggression even more. And I like that Duval's consistently, last fight good, but let me do this. Let me try to lie this time. I want to do this. So I like that. Always growth. I like that. Versus Tyson Green. Tyson Green. Before we even continue on, the second I say that name for the rest of my life, I'm just gonna remember that real war that he went to with Cody Jerome, man. I will always think Tyson Green, unbreakable spirit, a man who really went out on his shield, man. I'll never forget that. Tyson Green, 10 wins, 12 losses, coming out of Team Green in St. Albert, Alberta. 0-2 as a pro, but he's fought Cody Jerome, we just talked about, and Peter Arbeau. I mean, both unbelievable studs in the Muay Thai scene. Been on the Canadian scene for a very long time. I mean, he fought Chris McMillan in an amateur 8-man tournament. I don't even remember when that was. 2015, 16, maybe 14, somewhere around, a long time ago. So he's no new guy when it comes to the fight world. I was gonna say no spring chicken, but that's not right. But you know what I mean. Like, it's not his first rodeo in the fight world. He's been around. I didn't mean like not spring chicken. You know what I mean. But man, I was glad to see him back to 5 rounds instead of the 3 rounds of gloves. He's somebody with a good eye. He's nice and slick. He likes to move well and take his time. He does move well, and someone who likes to take his time. So 5 rounds, I think, is perfect for him. And boy, like we talked about, his warrior spirit is unquestionable. And he looked this one. He was looking to be a little more focused, a little more patient, and in the moment. And this I thought was a good one. In general, on paper, what you see is Duval is a clincher elbow guy, and so usually if you're clinching, you're an elbow guy. And Tyson being the boxer, a little more of the kickboxing style. So good clash of styles. But so in round 1, Duval, I thought he won round 1, but did as he was wanting to, and that was turn up the aggression. And Gunshot Garvey now is his nickname because of his kicks. They're so loud, I guess. I wasn't there, but apparently on those pads, man, those are loud. He can really let him go. So, and he did in this fight, and he really did sort of show some aggression. Now, Tyson did a good job moving, taking some of those kicks, didn't take too many hand combinations, good and tight inside the clinch. It was a good contest. Now, at the end of round 1, I thought Garvey did win round 1, and then right at the beginning of round 2, right as the blue corner, so Tyson Green's corner, hops out of the ring because the break is over between 1 and 2. The rope breaks, and I don't mean something fell off or came off. I mean the rope broke, the top rope. So, so there was. I'm just guessing, maybe a 25-minute break, probably about that, and forced intermission, really. But what can you do? So for the first 10 minutes, these guys are just dancing around the ring, trying to stay warm, and it's a little awkward. I mean, what do you do? Try not to stare at each other, I guess. And, of course, the time starts carrying on. So what does Duval do? Just starts grooving. And I love that guy. He looks like he's just, out for a picnic when he fights. It's great. What a great attitude. So he just starts dancing, staying warm. And anyway, the fighters get taken back to their change room. Shout out to my man, Scotty Micmac, for fixing the ring. I could hear people chirping at him. Hurry up, get it fixed. It's taking so long. Now listen, that guy, water off a duck's back with that guy. He's the man. But it bothered me to see one of my best friends getting chirped when I hear about the day he had, and maybe he'll explain it to you. He had a long day that day, and I was pissed. Don't talk to my friend like that. So shout out to you, Scott. I was really happy. You're the man. You're the one who got up there. You're the one who fixed it, and you're the one who made it happen. Thank you, buddy. Now, the problem is that went 25. That was, like I said, 20, 25, 30 minutes in between fights. So, controversy. So here's what happened. The fight was called a no contest. Now, I don't know, I'm commentating the whole time. I hear that they came back and said, hey, do you guys want to go? You ready to go? And Duval said, yes, yeah, let's go. And Tyson Green said no because his shin was mangled. And from all accounts, from what I hear, his shin was mangled. Like, there was damage done in round 1. So before we move on, though, it's like, what do you do? Let's say they both wanted to continue. Do you refight round 1? Probably not. So now you're going to restart round 2, kind of like it's round 1. These guys are going to have to warm up. They're going to have to get back into it. There's injuries. So now you're going to sort of restart the fight at round 2, which now makes it what feels like a 4-round fight. They're going to treat round 2 like round 1 to get back into it. But there's already somebody winning round 1. So someone's already 1 round behind. It made sense. It made sense to me. Now, Tyson Green, from what I understand, could not continue because of shin damage. Duval Garvey wanted to. Should that be a TKO? I say no. Now, a lot of people do, and I get it. I really do. He wanted to continue. He didn't. If he doesn't want to continue, my guy does. Doesn't my guy win? I don't know. I don't see it that way personally, although I understand it. Here's how I see it. Round 1 happened, and there's damage. The rope broke, and those guys now have cooled down. Adrenaline is down. And for all those reasons I talked about, you're going to restart the round. You're going to restart the fight. These guys are going to have to re-warm up. One guy is injured. One guy's 1 round ahead. Now, round 2 is going to be a write-off, and then it's going to be 3. Like, it just, in my opinion, it sucks. It sucks. But it's completely out of control. Anyone's control, right? You just fix it as fast as you can. So the reality is I thought no contest was the right call. Hated it. Terrible way to have it be done. But I think in reality that's the best way to do it. And no contest it is. So these guys got 1 round apiece. These guys got 1 round in with each other. I hear they're going to try to run it back sometime. But during the summertime, there's not very many fight cards around, at least Calgary, Alberta. You know, it's summertime. Everyone's gone. So maybe September, we'll see. But in the meantime, we got a little taste of what looked like a hell of a scrap. So we hope these guys run it back. So I'm sorry, Deval. Tough go, man. You're such a cool cat. I love watching you just be in there. And if there's reggae in the back, you know Deval's around. Tyson Green, man, just that guy seems at peace in war. Like, that guy probably should have been born in feudal Japan, it looks like. We have one guy looking like somebody stole his lunch, Tyson Green, and another guy looking like he's the guy who stole it, and it's the most best sandwich he's ever had, and he's happy. Like, he's very, very different contrasting fighters, and I was really looking forward to that one. So, big fan of both those guys, and who knows? Down the pipe, right? All right. Next one. Again, I might have the order of these fights actually wrong. I'm just going to flip 1 page at a time. Okay, so we had the pro debut of Jerry Liu and Mark Torres. Jerry Liu fighting out of Lumpai Sherwood Park. 12 wins, 4 losses. Jerry Liu is my new best friend. Thanks, buddy, for wearing the Shout Out Fight Podcast shirt to the ring. I really appreciate that. I've said it before. If you're willing to look at your shirts and go, yeah, this one can get blood and sweat and Vaseline and stuff all over. Yeah, I'll wear this one. Dude, I'm tickled pink. And I said it at the beginning of the show. I took the 5 minutes to just try to say thank you. And I just, dude, you're my new best friend, buddy. So Jerry Liu under coach Ryan Timothy and former WBC champ Derek Jolivet. This was his professional debut, ranked number 5 at 175 pounds. Now, I think the WBC, I'm not sure if I said this, the WBC Canada rankings might be a little outdated because this fight was at 170. He was the ECL four-man tournament winner, which gave him a contract to fight into the Muay Thai World Cup. By the way, shout out to Edmonton Combat League, ECL, and Mukai Moromo. Those are the man behind the ECL. 3-time amateur Canadian and North American champ, Mr. Jerry Liu. Mark Torres, 5 wins, 2 losses. Fighting out of Calgary via Sinbi Muay Thai in Thailand. Southpaw fighter coming back from a good long stint in Thailand. We were going to do a podcast. We still can, buddy. I apologize. It's just, man, real life gets in the way. Had a fight out in Thailand, trained out in Thailand. His pro debut, at least per se, if that one in Thailand wasn't a pro. And this was his second appearance on the Muay Thai World Cup. I believe he fought on the very first one. Okay, so Jerry Liu. So, well, this fight. Now, I've known Jerry for many years. I've helped corner him as well. Teammates of mine. Now, we don't live in the same city, but, I get to see the teammates, the Lumpayu teammates, a couple times a year outside of fight cards. Man, Jerry Liu has such a slick style. If I have any criticism, a lot of it doesn't have a lot of poison behind it, but so what, man? I called him an eel on the broadcast. He's so slick. It's hard to get a hold of him. It's hard to catch up. He's always going to make you reach. And when he's done his combo and you come forward, he's going to teep you away. A lot of his, if you're watching, a lot of his hits are on the boom, the half beat, boom, right on the half beat of the rhythm of the fighter. And man, I'm very impressed with his style. He uses the whole ring. His shoulders are relaxed. Man, just good weapon selection. Very smart. I love smart fighters. Big fan of Jerry. Against Mark Torres. Now, Mark, I know this is his first fight a long time. It looked like he got a few things. He got gassed. He got a little frustrated. And Jerry will do that. He's done that to most people. I mean, to be honest, it looked like he frustrated Sean Newberry in their fight, too. Like, Sean was chasing him around the ring, it felt like. Mark started off. He tried to land the biggest head kick. I don't know if that was a little bit of excitement or I don't know, but he went for it. And southpaw, big, strong guy. Like, just when you look at them physically, I was like, oh boy, Jerry. Like, good luck, man. But muscles will take you so far in a fight, and the rest is about fighting. So Mark looked very tired at the end. I know he hasn't been back. I don't think back in Canada too long. So I don't know if acclimation had anything to do with it, but he did what he could. He definitely got a little bit frustrated, and Jerry poured it on over the 5 rounds and took a good solid win. And sounds like we'll be fighting, as per my announcement, for the I can't remember, 168, I believe, Muay Thai World Cup. I'm sorry, WBC Canadian title on the next Muay Thai World Cup. Tough go for Mark. It's been a long time since you fought here again. I'm curious if the elevation had anything to do with it since you've been gone so long. But well done, Jerry. Good fight. And looking forward to seeing you fight for that title. Up next, I don't think this was the fight. Oh yeah, here we go. But yeah, like I said, I'm just going to go one at a time. For the 140-pound WBC Canadian title, Abdou Haddad, 16 wins, 6 losses, training out of Elite Muay Thai, again under Kieran and Francois. WBC Canada number 2 at 140 pounds. And again, he lost in the quarterfinal on the last fight card versus Jake Peacock. And again, another crazy tear-up. That was so fun. And it's good to see him back to the 5 rounds traditional Muay Thai. I love both. I love that we got to see a mix of both that night. And he had that fight with Apisit that turned into a draw. I think they were going to rematch, and he ended up in the tournament. And dude, this guy's been in the ring with Sanchai, Manichai. Listen, it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard to scare Abdou when you see the people he's been in the ring with. Super heavy-handed, very aggressive, and I was happy to see Abdou back there. Very quiet guy, but man, what a savage. And fighting Victor Alvim. So 17 wins, 8 losses from Evolucao Thai and MMA in Toronto under Mauricio Amado, and originally from Brazil. And again, same thing, very aggressive, very heavy-handed. So kind of similar styles. Now, Victor did have a problem with weight cut. I don't. Not that he had a problem. Well, he did, but it wasn't a problem like he had to lose 10 pounds in an hour. It wasn't like that. It was like he was 0.4 over it. Now, I don't know, but from what I recall, if it's a non-title fight, you have 1 pound weight limit, and if it is a title fight, if it is a title fight, then you have none. You have to weigh the exact amount, 140, nothing over. And he was 0.4 over, if I recall. And he tried to run. He took off his undies and this and that, and just he couldn't get it off. He couldn't get that 0.4 off. So unfortunately, this was only a title fight for Abdou and not for Victor. So Victor did win this fight. It would just be a win, and the title would stay vacant. But Abdou Haddad made it very clear that he wants that belt, and he wants it right now. Oh, my goodness. That dude is a savage, man. Now, I've worked on the heavy bag in this gym on my Instagram a few times. I've worked in the step in, the lead hook, and then use your body weight into the cross. And I believe I even said, like, hey, I'm practicing the Haddad here because I think that's how he dropped Apisit, too, last year. And, man, what a savage. That left hook, right cross, and then that left hook to the body. You just saw Victor on the first one he eats. Just absolutely like cat back, like, whoa, like you just can't hide it. And then from there, you could tell it was like a bit of a, oh shit, right? And I don't blame him at all, man. I would hate to fight Abdou. Jake, you're a madman. Like, that's crazy. But anyway, again, Abdou, this was first round, by the way, just Victor could not get into it. Abdou is too fast, too hard hitting, too explosive, too aggressive. And again, hit him with a body hook. Abdou hit, again, I'm trying to remember this off the top of my head here. Abdou hit Victor with a body hook, which again had him sit down a bit, and then just hit him in the temple with a right elbow, which had him sit down a little further, and the ref came in and waved the fight off. Boy, what a tear up. And, that was Victor's. So Victor just won the WBC amateur title, decided to go up to, easily, by the way, and no disrespect to his opponent, but he had a highlight reel time in the office in May. Decided to jump to pro and try his hand at a pro WBC Canadian title, but ran into Abdou Haddad. By the way, I suspect Abdou Haddad fully to pick up more hardware than a Canadian title. Watch out for him if you're not already. So congratulations, Abdu Haddad, your new 140-pound WBC Canadian title champ. Looks good on you. You're a bad man, and I'm excited to see more. I hear you already have a new matchup, and I ain't saying it, but it's going to be awesome. All right. Moving on. I was really looking forward to this one as well. This was one of my fights of the night. WBC 118-pound bantamweight title on the line. It was a vacant title. Stephanie Quigg from Team Smanich, 5 wins and 6 losses out of Calgary. WBC. Now, I don't know if this is a typo, but WBC Canada ranked number 3 at super bantamweight and number 3 at super flyweight. And she has fought Morgane Pouliot, who's going to be in the finals in November, versus Taylor McClatchy. And had a hell of a fight versus ex-champ Hope Quinn on like a prospect show. That was a really good fight. And I think this is her 4th time at the Muay Thai World Cup as well. So again, getting used to the lights and the procedure and the routine of the Muay Thai World Cup. That only helps. Versus Kate Clements, friend of the show, by the way. 10 wins, 3 losses from PFA, Progressive Fighting Academy in Lethbridge under Brad Wall. Shout out to Brad Wall. Big fan of him and PFA. And Kate was ranked number 5, according to the WBC Canada, at 122 pounds. And recently just won a North American Muay Thai title as an amateur and decided it's time to move up to the pro ranks. Couldn't agree more. Yeah, it was if I'm going to be honest, I will be honest. I thought this would be not as close of a fight. I thought Kate would take it a little bit more. No disrespect, Steph, at all. But maybe it's just from training footage. We get to watch Kate a lot, and Steph keeps it, fairly quiet, fairly private. But boy, it was. The more I look back on, so initially I kind of thought Steph won. I did. If I had to pick, I thought Steph won. But I admit that the more I think about it, Kate won for sure. So again, just so you guys know as well, like when I'm commentating, I'm a terrible judge. So as I'm watching, I'm waiting for the big one, right? Like I'm just waiting, and then right? Like, so really I pretty much forget everything that happened because I'm just watching, man, and I am waiting for it. So I admit that I kind of forget what the hell happened. So at the end, again, I hate thinking of like, oh, well, I don't like this one. Well, I watched it back and I thought I won. Like, nobody gets to watch it back and make a decision. So you got to make a decision there. I thought Steph maybe won. I do recognize as I look back on it and think back on it, I do feel Kate won. But more importantly, these were ex-teammates. This was a great fight between 2 awesome people. I'm a big fan of Steph. I'm a big fan of Kate. I really enjoy both as people, as athletes. I love their gyms. These are great people. And I'll always support them whether they fight or don't fight. I really like them. So it was kind of, in my opinion, the tale of the tape here where Kate was looking to land some hands on Steph. Maybe they felt like that's where Steph was slightly weak, and I felt like Steph's job, which I kind of saw coming, this was my prediction, swallow up those hands and take the clinch. And looking back on it, the reason I now choose Kate, I thought, or I'll tell you what, the reason I initially chose Steph is I saw the game plan. Stifle those punches, stop her from punching, and get inside that clinch. I saw it, and it worked. I also thought she did a good job of breaking the posture of Kate inside the clinch as well. Now, Kate, so I saw those things. She's negating the game plan of Steph is negating the game plan of Kate with the clinch, swallowing up the arms, breaking posture. But Kate was way more active in the clinch with good meaty, like not soft knees, not really hard knees, but enough that they were often, and maybe pushing the pace a bit more and just one step ahead of Steph. But so Kate Clements, your 118-pound bantamweight WBC champ, great fight. That's really all I want between people. Just have a good fight, put it all out there, have a good fight, and treat each other respectfully afterwards. And I'm satisfied. So, Steph, I love you to death. I love your team. You were right there. I can't wait for the next one. I promise. I've said it many times, whether it was privately or publicly. I'm a fan of you inside and outside the ring. And Kate, again, friend of the show, phenomenal podcast. I've said it many times. Your skills and everything are just skyrocketing, and the future, the world is yours. The future is up to you. Great fight. All right. And then we got WBC Canadian title defense at 185 pounds. We had Tim Low against Edward Monji or Mong. I'm not sure. I'm sorry. And again, this is for Tim's WBC Canadian title fight. So he was defending his title, 2-time champ. He lost it initially, I think, to Mark McKinnon, and then won it back versus Martello Jones. Is that right? I could be wrong. But anyway, 2-time champ, training out of Lumpayu Muay Thai in Sherwood Park, again with Derek Jolivet, Jerry Liu, and Ryan Timothy. I like all those people. Great team. Like I said, 2-time WBC champ. Sorry, just read my notes here. Known for that left head kick. So I wrote down, I could be wrong, left head kick KO. So he's KO'd 2 of the 4 times before this fight, I believe, before his recent fight. He has KO'd 2 of the 4 wins by head kick, if I have that right. Only 1 loss and 3 stoppages. Right. Maybe 4 now. I'm sorry. Maybe I got that wrong. But anyway, Tim makes it very clear. Yeah, listen, stop my left kick and we'll talk. And it's funny. I've talked about this. Everybody takes pride. I'm making fun of like musicians too, or like one-hit wonders. I have other music. I can do it. And same with fighters. I'm not just a knee guy, man. I'm not just a left hook. I can do it all. But it's cool to hear Tim say, yeah, left kick. You know what to watch out for. Now do something about it. Let me tell you, man. Edward, 5 wins, 1 loss at Itobi Coke Martial Arts in Toronto. Again, under Michael Fitzpatrick, I saw. That's all I could really find on him. Pretty quiet guy. But so like Tim said, man, try to get past that left kick. Edward could not, man. He was getting hammered with Tim's just beast of a left leg. And there was a few times, I've had my arm broken a few times from blocking kicks with one arm. Don't do it. If there's anything you can take away from this podcast, don't block kicks with one arm. I did see Edward try a few times, and whoa, boy, that made me pucker. Tim's no disrespect to Edward, but man, Tim was all over him with that left kick. He just couldn't do anything about it. He had a couple, I think, a good keeps and taking out the bottom leg of Tim or trying to. But when your sole focus is, man, watch out for that baseball bat. It splits your focus. And then I don't know if Tim hurt him. And again, round 1, right? If Tim hurt him and put him on the ropes and then just hit him with, I think it was 1 punch, and he brought his hands down, and Tim hits him with an elbow. It was either 2 or 3 elbows. But the first one, you could tell, rocked him. And then dang, the second one, it was like factory reset. Like he was standing up, boom, eats a flush elbow and nothing. Bang, eats another one and just no response. So thankfully, the ref came in and stopped that fight. It was you don't see that very often, and you can just see. And I could right when it was happening, I just in my mind slow motion. No, I didn't want one more elbow. Me and Tim have this fun little back and forth. I always jabbed Tim because he keeps his front hand down, and got clipped in the face. And he said, "Why?" I'm sure he's gonna be, "Why do you keep bringing this up?" Versus Markel. But so we had this little thing like, is that good? Is my hand up? No left kick and all that stuff. So hey, listen, Tim, it's all good fun. You keep fighting like that, you put your hands wherever the hell you want. That was a great stoppage. Good to see it, to have a stoppage with other weapons. So what is that now? 4 or 3 stoppages in the Muay Thai World Cup alone. I think 50% or higher of his stoppages are the left head kick. Tim's a savage. And then you guys didn't hear this. I know he called out Mark. He called out Mark McKinnon. Now, no, I had to call that last fight, man, and it hurt my feelings, and I was scared, okay? I'll be honest with you. I was worried for your health, for God's sakes. Now, that was a long time ago, things, blah, 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 blah. But anyway, I mean, good for you for wanting that challenge, for wanting to run that back and take that. Respectfully, it's clearly about you. Let me show you what I can do, and I love that. But right when I got into the ring, before I got to talk to him, he didn't know about the Mark McKinnon announcement, which we'll get into, and he says, hey, did you announce that Mark's fighting for a title on November? And I said, yeah. And he's like, I want that fight. Like, wow, you're a savage, Tim. You're a savage. So, again, I love seeing, I know this of you, just challenges like that. I'm looking for challenges. And, dude, you're a savage. Anybody fighting you, that is a real challenge. Now, speaking of, so congratulations, first round knockout. And now, if I recall, 2 or 3 time defending WBC Canada champ. I see Martello Jones wants some November 25th. I did see that he made a comment. Let's do this dance again. I'd love to see it. I thought that was a good fight up until I think Martello got injured or came in injured. But anyway, Mark McKinnon, I got to talk to the man, Mark McKinnon. Geez, that guy is big and stoic and friendly as long as you're on his good side. But thank God. And we got to make a cool announcement that he's going to be fighting for a WBC international title versus Chip Moraza-Pollard, who he fought many years ago, even under a different gym, for a world title, the Lion Fight world title, and lost by split decision. He had a knockdown in round 5. Split decisions are always going to be controversial. But he gets to run it back. I don't know if this is for the same weight class. I don't know how this works. Is he the WBC champ, international champ, because he fought for a world title, unfortunately lost by knockout? So is he still the interim champ, or do you have to give that up to become the world? I don't know. But is it a different weight class? Doesn't matter. Either way, we're going to see Mark McKinnon back fighting for a WBC international title versus somebody who he's already fought. It's been a few years, so it's going to be a good fight, man. Both those guys are world class. Really good fight. All right. And then moving to our Road to One Championship, 125-pound women's semifinal. Taylor McClatchy, 51 wins, 4 losses, training at a 613 Fight Factory in Ottawa under Jeff Harrison. And WBC Canada, number 1. And her first fight on the Muay Thai World Cup versus Vic Bogdan, out of Vancouver, BC, Diaz Combat Sports. 6 wins, 3 losses. And she had that big tear-up in the quarterfinal versus Laura Barger. And they got after it for 3 rounds. God, Victoria's tough. And to move on to fight Taylor. Now, when you look at these records, 51-4 versus 6-3, I hear you, but it just doesn't matter, like you see. Yeah. Anyway, when you're at the professional ranks like this in a tournament like this, don't worry about the records. And man, Taylor McClatchy, good to see her back in it. It was my first time getting to see her with my own bare eyes. I've known her about her for many, many, many years. Friend of the show. Unfortunately, didn't get to fight at the last one because her opponent got hurt. So we finally got to see her get in there and scrap. And my goodness, clinch of death. Already kind of knew that, but whoa, man, it's good to see. You don't see it as often anymore, but a super tight clinch, head side by side, and just pulling their face into your chest. Hence the squeeze her till she poops her pants comment. Interesting fight right off the bat. Victoria cut Taylor, and Taylor doesn't even know what happened under her, I believe, right eye. Yeah. Decent gash, headbutt, elbow punch. Nobody even knows. I just know they were in the clinch in the far corner right away, and I could see blood on Taylor's arm, so I just assumed that was from Victoria's face. And then when they came off, there was just a nice red square patch. It looked way worse than it was once it got cleaned up. We couldn't really tell how bad it was. But, man, good hard fight. I thought Victoria came in here looking for elbows. From what I saw from Diaz Combat Sports on Instagram and all that stuff, they were working that elbow game. And Taylor McClatchy, known as a clincher, dude, first time I ever saw a teep to the grill from the clinch. That is a first for me. Well done. Anyway, a good hard fight. Taylor is so strong in the clinch. The reality is, man, you have to deal with that. You can't just be like, oh, don't worry, I'll escape it or I'll dance around. It ain't going to happen. You're going to have to deal with that. And Victoria did a good job dealing with it. It was a good close fight, good right knees. I really like Victoria Bogdan's right knees from a tight clinch, leg behind and swing around. Very, very good fight. Victoria now has just 2 grinder fights in those little gloves. And Taylor comes away the winner by decision. And so now she'll be fighting Morgane Pouliot in the final come November 25th. Shout out to Morgane for, unfortunately, her opponent didn't make weight, so the fight was off. But she got to commentate, and I'm really getting to know Morgane. I like her. I like her team. I only got to meet her for the very first time when she fought on the first Muay Thai World Cup. And what an awesome person. Thank you very much for taking a picture in a sec with my dad as well. I really appreciate that. So in the final, we have the most winningest female in Muay Thai Canadian history, Taylor McClatchy with 52 wins now and 4 losses. Versus Morgane Pouliot. I didn't write that down, but listen, that's going to be a great match. I know Taylor has beat Morgane previously, and she tells a great story. Make sure you listen to Taylor McClatchy's podcast. A great story about that fight. my prediction was that it would be these two in the finals. It's going to be a right final. I can't wait. All right, now, in the 145-pound Road to One semifinal division, we have Jake Peacock fighting at a Dunamis YYC. That's his gym. Trained by Chris McMillan. That would be my brother in arms. Well, maybe not so much anymore. My partner in crime, my buddy. 10 wins, 1 loss as a pro, now 11. 100% finishing rate before this fight. And WBC Canadian champ at 147, and a champion he is. And again, we last saw him versus his fight with Abdu Haddad, where, man, both guys got knocked down, and Jake finished the deal and came out on top. That was a hell of a fight and a hell of a finish. Now, he was going to fight Apisid, who beat Rich Fem in the quarterfinals, but apparently I hear that there's visa issues, and so he wasn't able to fight. And so I wanted that fight so bad. And so now initially I hear Jake was going to fight somebody international, just, let's get Jake fighting. And then we run, I all of a sudden see that he's going to be fighting Nick Kron, I assume. Originally from Minnesota, but fighting out of Tulum, Mexico, under Eddie Farrell. 15 wins, 0 losses, 6-0 as a pro. And, for training out of Tulum Muay Thai. So for those who don't know Tulum, it looks like Thailand. Everyone, for those not hardcore fans, everybody's like, oh, I think he's in Thailand. Like, no, that's Mexico. They did Eddie and his wife, Brooke, did such a good job of making that thing so Thai, right? The equipment looks it's an all-day thing. There's fighters always training. There's always fights, hard, sparring hard, clinching. Like, it's Thailand, man. It's cool. They've really made a cool thing down there. And what I do know is that they do spar hard, and that's a hard-nosed gym. So what I knew about Jake fighting this fella is Jake might win by knockout. Maybe he wins by decision, but this guy's going to give it his all and comes from a proper place where he can. I'm not saying the others didn't, but this was not a can he was fighting. This was a real opponent. So, Nick, I personally want to thank you for many reasons. Number one, for talking about my podcast with Eddie. Hey, I was telling about this podcast, well done. And Eddie goes, oh, is that podcast you're talking about? Oh, it's well done. And I was like, what? You guys are talking about my podcast? Like, dude, I can't thank you enough. Thanks, Nick. Now, before, during, and after, you are nothing but a gentleman, a nice person, respectful, humble, quiet, welcoming. It kind of hurt my feelings to see what happened. I don't mean that in a bad way, but let's get into it. So Jake Peacock. Now, these guys were the same height. I thought this was maybe a little bit telling. Nick now also coming off a very short camp. I think it was 2 weeks. So Jake now has his first win. So Jake wins. It was his first win via decision. He's finished everybody before. And you could tell he was really trying to finish Nick and just about came close, but maybe got a little tired trying to. And listen, how can you not? He threw everything at Nick, and Nick just kept coming forward, calm. Nick wasn't flustered. He wasn't flinching away. He landed a good couple shots, but the reality, like I said on Instagram, fighting Jake must be like fighting a spider. Like, just limbs coming from everywhere, up, down, left, right, downward, upward, like just angles. So you could see Nick was really trying to close that distance and get close. But the reality is, it is a grinder. You're going to be in a meat grinder to get there every time. And, Nick tried so hard to get inside. And there was even one part I was really impressed. He was in the corner, and Jake was lighting him up. And he stayed covered. He stayed calm and didn't even blink. And then moved out of the corner. I'm like, okay, like that. There's a good sign of somebody who can take the pressure, take the heat, at least that kind of heat anyway. And then got hit with Jake's left hand is something else, between the straight left and the left hook, and he landed one right on the jaw, which caught Nick, stumbling and took an 8 count. And it had to have been a long 3 rounds for Nick, in all honesty, and Jake. And at the end of it, Nick is still smiling and being respectful and humble while missing his front teeth. He's missing 3 or 4 front teeth. And, it just, his eye was banged up. And Jake really took it to him, and that guy, Nick, had no back foot. Nick, you're a nice guy, man, and I can't wait. I guarantee you opened up some eyes Saturday, and I wouldn't be surprised to see you back at the Muay Thai World Cup. I don't know nothing about nothing, but what I can tell you is in between rounds, you can hear on the broadcast. I like what happens in between rounds. I like looking in the corners and seeing the energy, seeing the instructions, and then trying to bring it to the broadcast for you guys. Hey, so red corner says this round, they're looking for this, right? That kind of thing. So I'm watching Nick in between rounds, and I see him mouth something like, I can't really remember word for word, but like, hey, I'm missing my teeth, or he knocked my teeth out. And I see him, like I saw the words, I could read his lips, and he said it again. And then I see his coach, Eddie, take his mouth guard out, turn it over, bang out the teeth like they're Tic Tacs, put him in his pocket, and just keep moving on. Like pretty much no words said. And I was like, oh my goodness. Like, really? No, it's probably the proper response. Just shut up and go. But boy, man, so now he's missing teeth and still goes back out there and fights. And man, anyway, Jake got a little bit tired. He wins by decision, and now he goes on to the final. Did we forget that one? No. To fight in the finals. And I just, boy, I was impressed with Jake. Not only that, but Jake did say, I got to talk to him a little bit after. I wanted to show people I'm not just fancy in movement. I can stand and bang. And I thought he did a very good job of like in general, you just there's action and reaction, right? You go out there, you do your thing, and then somebody hits you, and you try to block or evade or not, and answer back. You react back. In general, that's how it goes, right? In general, especially at the amateurish stages. But I thought Jake, I saw a few times where he just let Nick walk in, and he's just holding him and just kind of like looking him up and down, like, okay, what do we got here? Like really taking a look at what's happening this far away. Like, bro, you're a savage. But what goes with that? Confidence, training, your ability, every reason, right? If you're what a superstar. The reality is, what I'm trying to say is, Nick is unbelievably tough and nice and humble, and Jake, did everything he could to finish him, and it was something else. That was something else. Some fight, and I'm happy to see Jake get a little tired and have a fight like that. Nick, I would love to see you back. I'm a fan. I'm a fan because you're a nice guy. You can fight fine. I watched a few fights, but you can be a good fighter and a not nice person. I'm not your fan. You're a really nice guy. I'm on board, man. Boy. So that ends that. I see Nick is already back down in Tulum Muay Thai. Living the life, man. Good for you. Now, our other 145-pound semifinal, we had Stephen Opong from Black Lotus in Montreal under the guidance of Westside Muay Thai. Shout out to Ben Pride. Fought Chris McMillan way back in the day, that same tournament we talked about. And I like Westside Muay Thai. Those are good people. WBC Canada number 1, Stephen Opong, super lightweight division at 145, 22 wins, 6 losses, and beat Thomas Mandra in the quarterfinals to get where he was. And that was a tough fight too. Thomas Mandra at that weight has to be tough for everybody, man. Go gadget arms and legs. But snuck out that one, and so it's lined up to fight Abdul Wafar, 7-1 out of elite martial arts in Calgary under Kieran Kettle and Francois Duval. 1-0 as a pro due to a no contest in the opening of the quarterfinals. Got poked in the eye. And, that shit happens. He's only had 6 amateur fights, and this is either his 3rd or 4th go in the Muay Thai World Cup. We talked about him in the me and Kieran talked about him in the pre-show, but yeah, he's a little bit, he's raw. He's raw. He's powerful. But I keep hearing from people that the strength when he has you, the power when he punches you, there's no point trying to tell you, and you just have to feel it. So, man, it was a good hard fight with Stephen Opong. He did hit him and knock him down, but man, he blitzes him when he comes forward. Boy, man, I don't know, get out of the way. When Abdul decides he's going to come get you, man, he is a freight train, and he's coming to get you. And not just that, but he can sweep you off your feet. Really, really good sweeps in the clinch. Very impressive. So yeah, with somebody who hasn't even been in the ring 10 times and beat the number 1 guy in his division, that says something, man. That says a lot. That one as well went to a decision. I thought it was a close fight, except of course for the knockdown. In a 3-round fight, it's hard to come back from a knockdown, right? So Abdul Wafar will be fighting Jake Peacock in the finals. And I know I've talked about this on the Instagram. I'm not gonna lie, guys. If you can see me wiggling and stuff, I really gotta pee. But I got it. We'll continue on. Anyway, so I get to interview the fighters and all that good stuff, and I'm just doing my thing, and I see them get face to face, and I'm like, oh shit, like whoa, hold on, because hey, emotions are high. Jake is still dripping somebody else's blood, so I went to go in and split them up, and they just started talking, not terribly, no, but they started chirping. I'm like, oh, okay, well, let me back up. Let's listen to this a little bit. So I let them talk a little bit, and then eventually, we got them separated, and they both said the same to each other. Jake, man, you're not scary. I'm not scared of you. And Abdul's response was, hey, man, you know me. Like, I ain't scared of anybody. I've proved it. So we got a couple non-scaredy people about to have a tear-up on November 25th for the finals. Again, it's my opinion. I see a lot of comments. Jake's going to kill him. Jake's going to smash him. This is a mismatch. Maybe. But I also think you could have said that about Abdul Wafar and Stephen Opong. I think you could have said that before they fought too. So I'm not saying Jake's going to win. I'm not saying Abdul's going to win. But what I am saying is I think it's hard to train for both. It's hard to train for a guy like Jake. It's hard to train for a guy like Abdul. So let's see how the training goes, and we'll see who gets their dreams come true November 25th. Dude, I can't believe that's really going to happen. Abdul Wafar, it was said too when we started this whole thing in the quarterfinals. If you look at the pre-show again with Kieran, Abdul Wafar is the dark horse in this division, and he's proved it. Not saying he'll win, not saying he'll lose, but the dark horse. The sky's the limit for him. And Jake, he called it a long time ago last year. One championship. Where are you? And so that guy's hungry. I can't wait for that final. That's going to be something else. I just don't know what to expect. That's why I like it. I have no idea what to expect. Can't wait. It's going to be fun. All right. 155-pound semifinal division. We have Quinn Wazelik from Dunamis YYC under Jake Peacock. WBC Canada number 4 at super welterweight. That's 154 pounds. Beat Mike Doherty by KO in the quarterfinals. Duck under the hands, threw that overhand right. 3-1 as a pro, and this was a rematch versus Cody Jerome for the first time was for Cody's WBC title. Good, close fight. Cody, again, edged it away. Just that gas tank is something hard to deal with. But anyway, Cody Jerome, 32 wins, 6 losses from Progressive Fighting Academy down in Lethbridge under Brad Wall. He's the current WBC super welterweight champ in Canada, and obviously won that fight in the quarterfinal. Oh, geez, I'm sorry. I was thinking Quinn had that insane win versus Tyson Green. He got dropped and then just got 3 knockdowns right at the bell. And crazy. So, by the way, I can also see now, I don't know nothing about nothing, but here's my, for those who can see, here's my scribble. See that right there? That looks like a 1-1. Sorry, Kyle. I'm going to throw you under the bus again. It's easy because you're not here. But I agree. That was Kyle's opinion going into the third. 1 round each. And I agree. Came down to the third round for me. And apparently my broadcast partner, Kyle. So it was that close of a fight. Now, because it was a rematch, these guys, they're the teams, they're strong teams, there's a lot of push behind each. You could feel, if we built this as this is going to be the main event, right? The rematch, and it was close, and you can do it, and Quinn's getting better, and the story was kind of fun. So I wonder if these guys slightly kind of played into that a little bit because the hype, because I felt like these guys were a little bit messy in there. Not a lot of head hunting, I thought. Cody doing a good job with the front kick, but it felt like the emotion, the moment got these guys a little bit. So it was kind of hard to judge. But Cody came out the winner. I thought he did. Again, I was like at the end, like, oh man, I don't know. But like I said, I'm always waiting for that big shot. So I always forget what just happened. But it felt like, again, that sort of, I don't know. I have to rewatch it. I said, don't say that. But it felt to me, while I look back on it, just the last half of round 3 is where Cody won. Like the last minute and a half is what the fight came down to. So Cody is the champ, and he will be moving on to the finals in the 155-pound Road to 1 championship on November 25th. Good hard fight. I'd love to know from Quinn. Quinn, I'd like to hear from you. Just curious how you thought. Like, did you think you won? Did you feel at the end of it you're like, I didn't quite do enough? Or I'm always just curious. The one thing about doing these podcasts, or I'm sorry, broadcasts or on pay-per-view is I just have to sit there. Like I said, I never get to hear anything else. So on to the next one, on to the next one, on to the next one. And then when the fights are done, the security usher you out right away. That's it, time to go home. So to be honest, I'm usually at home in bed by like 10:30 for these things. Yes. Actually, I was hyped up. It took me a long time to fall asleep. Okay, and then our final match of the night here, we had in the 155-pound division, road to one semifinals. Daniel Kichigo, Daniel Son Juice, what a great nickname. 57 wins and 9 losses from Moss Thai Boxing in Cambridge, Ontario, under Chris Q. Wasn't here this time, but shout out to Chris. Versus Jason Hines, the Mad Hatter, 46 wins, 4 losses, training at a pound for pound in Pickering, Ontario, and WBC Canada number 3 at welterweight. So these guys, I believe, last time I checked, had like over 101 wins and 15 losses just between those two guys. What? Now, Daniel coming off a massive overhand left southpaw, overhand left to finish Lance Dixon in the quarterfinals, and Jason Hines did a good job kind of matadoring the bull Reza, I can't remember his last name, out of Spartan Striking Academy, just dancing around, get the decision. Now, Jason has beat Daniel 3 times leading up to this. And in this fight, man, it was good, back and forth, really close fight. And then I can't remember what round it was, but right at the end, Jason puts Daniel in the corner and throws, like you hear me counting, I think it was 9 elbows right out. 1, 2, 3. I counted 9. And then, and before that, there was a knockdown. Daniel did hit Jason with a knockdown with the overhand left. Man, that's on money. That is on point. That's money. And then right in front of us, so like I'm sitting here with Kyle. I'm looking up here, and it's going down, right? Bang, bang, elbow, and maybe a couple caught Daniel on the head, but for the most part, he was covered up. And then just lets loose an overhand left, and you can see Jason's eyes just roll back, and he drops right in front of us. Boom, and that was it. That's the fight. Guys, I can't do it. I really have to pee. Give me a sec. Okay. So yeah, Jason just eats that big overhand left of Daniel Kishigo, and that's it, man. Fights over. He gets up. He's wobbly, and they congratulate each other at the end. Hey, man, 4 times in the ring now, and you can see that Jason was still whoa, a little wobbly from that overhand left, or both possibly. But dang, what a tear up. So you have Daniel Kishigo versus Cody Jerome in the finals. Man, these guys, both of these guys have huge records. Let's be real. It's the pace of Cody. If you can, I don't want to say deal with the pace. That's not how you say it. But if you can do something with the pace of Cody, you're going to do all right. Easy said than done, isn't it? That pace is madness. But that is a great final. So you have Daniel Keshigo versus Cody Jerome in the finals. You have Taylor McClatchy versus Vic Bogdan in the finals. I'm sorry. You have Taylor McClatchy versus Morgan Pouliot in the finals. My bad. And at 154, you have Abdul Wafar versus Jake Peacock. My goodness. Along with that, you have now Jerry Liu fighting for a WBC title. I can't say the other one yet. And you have Mark McKinnon fighting Chip Maraza-Pollard. I guarantee, besides those tournament finals, everybody else is going to want to be on this. This is a big card. I'm really hoping Vinny Shorman comes, and my door is just going to open here. That's okay. It's just time. He's going to come in and go, whoa. Give me 1 sec. Just do your thing, Aiden. Don't worry about it. I'm almost done. Anyway, so there you go. And then everyone's going to want to be on this. Everyone's going to want to be on this fight card. I already hear there's some great matchups and a super special guest. I promised the boss I wouldn't say anything, so don't try. My lips are sealed. All right, guys, that brings us to the end. If you have any questions, comments, anything like that, throw them my way. If I said something wrong, give me some info on these fights. They'll give me something to talk about on the next podcast Monday, because we're going to break down that one championship card. Other than that, guys, thanks again. I really appreciate all the support, and I can't wait for the next podcast. I can't wait for the next fight card. I can't wait to commentate again. Peace.